Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Relevant. Welcome back to Mr. Relevant Plays. Now, today we are going back to the lost time, the forgotten, to the disregarded ships of Star Trek Online. And this one is another Bird of Prey variant. Instead of the wings like arcing downward, if you go into Red Alert, as you can see, they go up and like stretch out a little bit, which I think is actually kind of dope. So this is the Alliance Temer Raider. This was an event ship from... when did the ship come out? I still am not very good at preparing myself for these. This came out in January 26th of 2021. So basically right around the time the new team took over, or right before, or right after, I can't remember exactly. But this is a fairly new ship from when the owners changed. A lot of their first event ships was basically just ships that Cryptic basically already completed and already had prepared for future events, but then they basically redid a few of them to make them better. This one was basically already out the door, so it was basically just ride the tide. Now, as for why this ship has been lost to time or disregardable, it's just because like a lot of stuff has come out. In terms of like Birds of Prey, I mean, let's face it, the hammerhead style like the saucer does kind of give it like a weird look to it, but I personally like the entirety of the design of the ship. I did have Vanity Shield on, so I'm going to go ahead and take it off so you can see the Alliance style for it. You can definitely see a lot of Klingon aesthetic to the ship, especially when it comes to like these wings and how they're shaped and designed, and the fact that, you know, just these giant like big cannons right here. Now, as for, I want to say that this is a deflector. This isn't a torpedo bay like normal Birds of Prey would have. From what I can tell, I'm not sure. I could be wrong. That might be a big torpedo bay. I don't know. But as for the ship's performance, I actually flew this ship a couple of times last night, and I was having a lot of fun with it. In terms of like the, in quotations, modern meta, as y'all know, Uncon reigns supreme. Doesn't have very many options. Only really 3 options. Well, or really, not really, about 6 options, which I tried a bunch of combinations, and this one was the best. 2 science, 1 engineering, with using emit unstable warp bubble as your engineering uncon proc, and then tractor beam, scramble sensors, gravity well, jam targeting sensors, and photonic shockwave. But then also running Photonic Officer for extra cooldown purposes, and then of course running the Krenum Chronophage for better science cooldown as well, so they can get your science abilities going off way more, which in turn will help with your Uncon proc. Now, in terms of this ship's performance, so let's go ahead and take a quick look-see. Oh, I hit the wrong tab. Because I am not smart. Actually, you know what? I can just do this instead. Because this will be better, because I can pull this out and then zoom in. There we go, much better. Alright, so at level 65, as y'all know, I always go to this one because this is the most important one. Your hull goes at 45,000. Now, of course, as you put your stuff, as you can see, my hull is different. I never really covered that, so I do apologize. But yeah, base hull is going to be 45,000, has a hull modifier of 1 and a shield modifier of 1, so it's just 1 across the board. Turn rate is 19, which is absolutely awesome. Impulse modifier is 0.2. Inertia is 80. Weapon power gives a plus 15, which is absolutely fantastic. I love this. Engine power is plus 5, which is something I also super enjoy. Now, again, with its bridge officer seating, I can go in more detail with it. So, like I said, I tried a bunch of different combinations, a lot of testing. This was the best combination I found for Uncon. Now, with the ability of running 2 emergency power to anything, it opens up the possibilities of you using traits such as Ship of the Line, which comes off of the Legendary Avenger. Every single time you activate emergency power settings, you gain critical severity, which goes up to, I think, 50% critical severity buff, which is awesome. And then the other one comes from the Temporal Recruit, which is critical systems. And then if you do a certain thing within the Temporal Recruit, you get improved critical systems, which boosts your critical chance and severity whenever you are spamming your mercy power buffs. This buff does not stack, but refreshes every time an emergency power is used. So the improved one does give more. So keep that in mind. If you have a Temporal Recruit, you got a free trait right there. That's actually not too shabby. And now let's go. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and continue. Dual cannons, obviously. It's definitely a raider. It does have an enhanced cloak, so I want to say this thing can fire while cloaked. I can't remember the whole cloaking system and how it works, but of course, cloaking has its own benefits to the ship as well. I generally don't really use cloaks because I'm just too lazy to activate it. Now, I do have to say that its trait, which I do want to get into like right now, actually, is really good for torpedoing. If I remember correctly. Wait, hold on. Let me refresh my memory. I might be wrong. After activating level 5 to the Alliance Temer Raider, you will unlock a sniper. You unlock the sniper starship trait. While this trait is slotted, yep, your torpedoes do additional damage at long range, and you gain a short-term boost to critical strike chance when firing torpedoes from more than 5 kilometers away. So yeah, this is a torping trait for sure, and a really good one. I can't believe I never unlocked this trait. I feel like an idiot because I have been working on torp boats as of late. As for the rest of the levels of the mastery, it's your standard accuracy, kinetic damage, energy damage, and critical severity. Instead of having a critical chance, it has a plus 5% defense, which I think is actually really huge. As for the console that comes with it, since the Alliance does basically anti-proton damage, it's an anti-proton style console, which is a console that I do also recommend and I do use while using anti-proton builds. A lot of people also use it for every and all energy types just because its clicky is really solid. You gain 25% bonus all damage, which is actually insanely huge, and plus 25% weapon shield penetration, which is also insanely huge. And then you do a X amount of anti-proton damage times 2 with 50% shield penetration, which is totally dope. This is actually a great console. I love this console. I love using it. I haven't used it in a while. I should really probably think about testing this console to see if I can combine it with some of my more up-to-date builds. But this ship is a command ship, so if you love torp boating, this is a really good ship for that, for sure. Just go ahead and refix this so it's not so zoomed in. But just like I've stated many times, you can technically torp boat with anything. Do not get me wrong. However, the best torp boats are going to be with ships with at least a lieutenant, commander, command seating, all because of one very specific ability, and that is Concentrate Firepower 3. The best torp ability in the entire game, and the only one that really matters in my personal opinion. All the abilities are irrelevant when it comes to torping, minus torp spread and high yield and whatnot. Torp spread is the second most important torp ability in game. Now, like I said, as for its design, I think it actually looks pretty sweet. When it goes in red alert, I like the way how the wings like go up and kind of like arc out a little bit more. Like I think it's totally dope. But let me just go ahead and queue for a quick hive run. Like I said, I did test this a couple of times in a few hive runs. With a buddy of mine last night when we were trying to get him to break a mill. And I was using Voth Anti-Proton because Voth Anti-Proton, whenever, let me see, what is it? Let me just take it off the ship so then easier to read. It is a 25% chance on a critical hit to reduce enemies' damage output by 9.1% for 10 seconds, and it stacks up to 3 times. It's amazing. I love Voth Anti-Proton because of how much it just debuffs enemies' like damage output. And if you combine this with Suppression Barrage 3, oh baby, literally they're not doing damage. It's so good. Like, out of all the weapons in the game that I use for tanking, Voth is literally my favorite. My favorite one, and, like, literally no one uses them, and I don't understand why. They look cool, they sound cool, and it's just absolutely fantastic. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the recording on pause real quick while we wait for the queue to pop, because y'all already know how it is. Hive Elite takes forever to queue, especially at 1:30 in the morning. Anywho, I will be right back when... Oh, never mind, it already accepted. Haha, don't have to pause. Again? Oh wait, I forgot. Sometimes it takes a minute for it to drop, so I will be pausing. Oh, alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are here. So what we're gonna do is first I'm gonna be able to show you what the Voth anti-proton dual heavy cannons look, because honestly they're my favorite in terms of visuals, and then you also get to see how the ship kind of performs. Now it's not X2'd. I actually do want to get all the Alliance ships X2'd, and I do plan on covering another Alliance ship that basically you just don't really see people see. I see that one more than this, for sure, but it's still one that you don't see too much. So I do have to say that Cryptic, when they were in charge, were kind of lazy a little bit when it comes to the first two Alliance ships that they added, for sure. Oh gosh, I did not mean to do that. I'm dead. I'm so dead. 2.9. I need to keep remembering to hit my... So my jump, my Vovan console is actually also linked to my my left control. So whenever I hit it, it will also deselect whatever it is I'm aiming at, or have selected. Like, for example, I'm hitting right now, see? So as you can see, if you pay very close attention, you can see what they look like, and they are, like, my favorite. They look so cool. Why am I... Hold on. That's why. Beta Boy's not equipped. That would do it. You guys would be very surprised on how much I died just because of the fact that Beta Boy isn't equipped. And when I refer to Beta Boy, I refer to Agent Nerul. He is... I will continue to forever say that he is the best duty officer in the game, just because of how versatile he is in terms of keeping you alive. It just stinks that the only way to get him is through the Delta expansion pack. My parse stopped working. Why did it turn off? Well, now I'm not going to be able to show you guys the parse, because it just completely broke. Another day in Star Trek Online. Yeah, look at them. They look so good. Now, I don't have a Voth turret. I need to get my hands on one, but yeah. Like, they look really cool. They're my favorite. Well, at least I can kind of look over the... Okay. And then the previous one. Okay. And how long did this last for? Okay, I don't even know why it stopped. I do not understand why it does that, but it does. And anywho, like I said, the Beta Boy is so very important when it comes to these test runs that I do because of how well it keeps you alive. I cannot stress enough on how awesome that guy is. Wish that it didn't. That's the only way to get them is through the Delta expansion pack. But I got it from way back when. But yeah, no, like this thing is fun. I do enjoy this ship. I like its design. Like when it goes red alert, the wings like kind of like stretch out a little bit and kind of arc forward. If I remember correctly, they arc forward a little bit. But it's a really dope design. If they were to release a Type 2 version of it, I know that they'd do better with the bridge officer seating than Cryptic did with this one for sure. But I do like the small detail in this thing. This thing looks super sweet, and this is another bird of prey that I think is absolutely amazing. This is definitely the bird of prey for torping, 110%. So if you want to live your dream of flying in a bird of prey and torping like amazing, you know, it'd be great. But yeah, this is the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. God bless, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.